What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. It is a bizarre day so far. We've got lots and lots of news. Elon potentially at any moment today may just release all banned accounts. Like at any moment today, it could happen. A Thanksgiving Day miracle. But until that happens, he is set to essentially release the MOTHERLOAD. Remember how Twitter locked out the New York Post when they were ready to report on the president's son's laptop and its validity? Well, there were a lot of conversations internally that happened at Twitter, both on Slack and other areas, about suppressing that news report that we obviously knew at the time was real. And even CNBC took 700 days or 400 days or whatever it was to actually admit that it was real. Well, it looks like he's going to release the internal conversations. This is absolutely insane. We're getting to that after a super quick word from this video sponsor, Private Internet Access. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, Private Internet Access. Look, it's 2022 going on 2023. If you don't have a VPN, you're missing out on a ton of benefits. Not just a more secure connection, but if you're paying for Netflix, Disney Plus, or any other streaming service, you're already getting locked out of a ton of additional content that you could be enjoying if you used a VPN. And since they've been sponsoring the channel so long, they've rolled out a massive discount for my viewers. That's right, 84% off plus 4 months free. It's $2.03 a month, 4 months free, 84% off. Private Internet Access also offers privacy on all your devices, lightning fast global server network. And look, outside of all the additional content you're going to be able to view out there using Private Internet Access, it also has a strict no logs policy. It's open source. It has state-of-the-art updates. It's instant to set up. You can put it on all of your devices, your tablet, your computer, your mobile phones. It has unlimited bandwidth and so much more. If you don't have a VPN yet, make today the day. Use my link in the description to get Private Internet Access, start being more secure, and unlock loads more content. Now, if you remember the story of the president's son's computer, you remember that it was hotly contested because the story released, I don't know, right before the election. And mainstream, not only mainstream media, but Silicon Valley colluded to bury that story. A story that was independently verified, that nobody actually thought was fake even for a second, and has continued to fester now for the last 2 years. Now, look, his son is not the president, but the information that is contained on that laptop does make many people concerned about whether or not he's compromised. There's the famous, everyone knows the 10% for the big guy, all this kind of stuff, right? Look where, I mean, just what a coincidence where his son worked in a job that he definitely was not qualified for. Now suddenly we are sending them tens of billions of dollars to fight a war. I'm sure those things are not related. I mean, it's insanity, okay? Now, ALX, I'm not actually sure who this person is. Everyone else seems to know who they are. They were banned from Twitter at some point. Elon brought them back and they tweeted, "Raise your hand if you think Elon Musk should make public all internal discussions about the decision to censor the New York Post story on the president's son's computer that before the 2020 election in the interest of transparency." That tweet gets 110,000 likes. Elon replies and says, "This is necessary to restore public interest." Not, "Hey, I'm going to do it," or "Yeah, that would be a good idea." Saying, "This is necessary." I think that what this does, a lot of people are going to continue to call this stuff like right wing, blah, blah. Yeah, it is good for conservatives because it will show big tech collusion. It will validate what most of us felt like we knew, but were gaslit into believing was an insane conspiracy theory. We knew that based on the videos and the emails and everything else that was on that computer, that it was real. There was like no real question of whether or not it was real, except for from left-leaning mainstream media. And when you bring that into the fact of when you bring Twitter and their suspension of the New York Post, that is, I mean, that could have saved him the election. We'll never know, but we'll definitely know that that was Twitter putting their thumbs on the scale. So the fact that they are going to perhaps release this information of the internal conversations about censoring that, that, for example, Jack Dorsey was probably in those threads, or I don't know if he was still at the company then. We know Vijaya Gotti was in that conversation, almost certainly. We know that a lot of big figureheads at Twitter were in that conversation, absolutely. Then we see Elon also saying, here we have Shibatoshi Nakamoto saying, well, whatever it decides to, this is on the suspended accounts thread. So whatever it decides to do, Twitter should be clear and consistent about its rules and penalties for breaking them. Enforcement should be unbiased, and the mechanisms of enforcement shouldn't be easily abused by people who have an agenda. I mean, we all agree on this, right? We all know about this. We know that this is the case. But we know that that's not how Twitter worked. This is what the number one draw to alternatives to Twitter was for anybody who is interested in anything but an echo chamber. It's not like I don't want lunatic leftists on Twitter. It's great. It makes it more fun. If it was all right-wing lunatics, it's not fun. If it's all right-wingers or conservatives, it's not fun. Arguing is fun. Dunking on people is fun. That's what Twitter does. So Elon replies, the more I learn, the worse it gets. The world should know the truth about what's been happening at Twitter. Transparency will earn the trust of the people. Then Patrick Stanley writes, I heard from a primary source that political groups would regularly contact Twitter to deboost their candidates' detractors, and Twitter would happily do that. That seems to put the finger on the scale of democracy. Elon replies, it is objectively the case that conservative political candidates were more negatively affected than progressive ones. Anyone using Twitter knows this. Question is simply one of magnitude. I mean, what's insane is that like these people should be going to jail. I mean, if what he's saying is true, this is Twitter acting like a publisher, not a platform. This is Twitter literally interfering in elections. This is what Elon paid for, by the way. This is why Elon bought this. Elon then writes, it's been really bad, in reply to Eric Weinstein, saying, can we get audits of how much of these manipulators controlled/distorted the world's online conversation by throttling bots, shadow banning, etc., and general dirty tricks for the years? The question isn't going away. The graph below is an indirect throttling indication. I talked about this yesterday. I think maybe just on Twitter, but like, I don't know if it was that I mentioned in the video to go follow me. Usually when I say, hey, go follow me on Twitter, or hey, go follow my locals at thequartering.locals.com, a very small percentage of people do that. But over the last, 72 hours, I don't know if it's continued into today, but over the past 72 hours, I can confirm that my shadow ban has been lifted off of Twitter. I know this because I used to test it all the time. My search suggestion ban still seems weirdly in place, but like this is like my analytics. You'll see that the account maybe averaged, I mean, by the way, this is all like post Elon era, right? 100, 200, whatever. Then look what happens. Thursday, 878. Wednesday, 1200. Thursday, it's noon and I already have 1300. 217, 692. And this probably will go up. There you go. So like there's something going on. There's been something unleashed. Unless people are going to say these are all bots or something like that, but you'd have to prove that. And then he writes, in continuation, Eric Weinstein, it has been really bad. Far left San Francisco Berkeley views have propagated to the world via Twitter. I am sure this comes as no surprise to anyone watching closely, like all of my viewers. Like, we know this, right? Twitter is moving rapidly to establish an even playing field. No more thumbs on the scale. I mean, that's the thing. Even Sargon writes, Elon completely gets it. This is exactly the problem. The rampant projection of Californian moral views, which are simply anathema to the rest of the world's moral views. The radical left's perspective is bizarre and warped and runs counter to most human experience. That's why people feel like, it's like, oh, Elon's paying attention to people who are viewed as conservative or free speech advocates, and it's not fair. It's, you get this article, right? Elon Musk is reinstating banned Twitter accounts. Here's who's back. Parentheses. They're almost exclusively right-wing figures. It's like, did you think that was going to be an own, my child? Did you think this was an own? We knew this. We knew. And the common misconception is that, oh, they were banned for talking about the coup, for they're banned for this. Most of these people who were banned for bizarrely, like, non-issues. Isn't it funny now that Donald Trump's account is back, everyone can see that he wasn't using Twitter to tell people to go do bad things? All of his old tweets are there for you to see. The Babylon Bee, we know why they were reinstated, because they stated a biological fact. Jordan Peterson's reinstated because he was banned for stating a biological fact. Kathy Griffin's back. Who cares? Andrew Tate, I don't know why he was banned. Probably Me Too era. I mean, all these various other right-wing people. Well, this isn't the own you think it is, Mashable. What you're saying is, oh man, Twitter's been doing our bidding for a year. And by the way, there are hundreds more. And I'm not even talking, by the way, shout out to all the little guys and gals out there who have been suspended and want their accounts back. Okay? But if you just take accounts with 100 to 200, 100,000 plus followers, there are probably 1,000 right-wing ones that were banned. Well, let's say 100. Let's say 100 more that haven't been unbanned. You're talking about millions of daily interactions that Twitter's been self-robbing itself of for political reasons. This is going to be a wild, wild run. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe down below so you don't miss a single video. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you haven't yet, please do pick up private internet access. If you don't have a VPN yet, they have a massive discount going on right now, so you're going to want to take advantage of that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll talk to you again real soon.